Hello, this is Mark Tucker,
This is Xavi,
and we are on Two Voice Devs.
two voice apps.
Hey, Xavi, welcome back.
Yeah, thanks. It has been like six months since I've not been here, and I was missing you guys.
Well, we've been watching what you've been doing, and we thought it would be a great opportunity to get you back on the podcast. And why don't you just do a quick introduction about like who you are, how you got started in natural language bots and assistants, kind of that world, what your title is at Voiceflow, and kind of what you do.
Yeah, sure. So, yeah, well, first of all, I'm based in Spain. I'm based in here in Madrid. And yeah, at Voiceflow, I'm working as a head of cloud infrastructure. Like what I'm doing, we can talk about this later, but yeah, like maintaining everything related to cloud. Voiceflow, of course, is a software as a service that you can use to create assistants, agents, like chatbots, IVR systems, using like natural language understanding, using generative AI, using a bunch of things, and everything is deployed on the cloud. So I am maintaining all those things and evolving those stuff. And yeah, regarding your question about like how I get started in this field, that was in 20, I think that was 2018, 2019. That was when Alexa landed here in Spain. Yeah, they released Alexa on Spain, Italy, and I think France and Germany, like a lot of places in Europe, basically. And yeah, like I didn't know that you could anyway, and also and actually you still can create Alexa apps. They are called Alexa skills. And yeah, like I saw there was, how was it, there was like a program that if you build like one skill in 1 month, you get an echo dot, and then if you build three, you get an echo show. So I built three and I get the echo dot and the echo show. I get both, and I realized that do love like the time that I spend building those apps, and like how like people can interact with computers, with things overall. So that is when I started like to go deeper, to dig in the conversational AI stuff. Of course, like I was writing and giving, and I'm still writing, and I am still giving a bunch of talks and writing articles about Alexa development, like how to write, how to code the Alexa skills and how to build them. So that was like my intro into this world. And then after, I think that was after like several years, like in 2022, I started like open, like not only focusing on Alexa, like start focusing on more technologies. First I discovered Voiceflow, and then I joined the team, Dialogflow CX, Rasa, like all the, like all the conversational AI platforms that are out there. I start, like learning more things, and also the Google Actions. Rest in peace, Google Actions. But yeah, like Google Actions was, the concept is the same as the Alexa skills, but for Google Assistant. But they kill it in past June, June 2023. And yeah, that's pretty much my journey. And thanks to all the things that I'm setting, like knowledge, in talks, I have a book as well, and articles, I get some recognitions like the Alexa champion, the one that you have, Mark.
Yep.
Google developer expert in machine learning with a specialty of a conversational AI, like the subcategory, and GitHub star.
Yeah, congratulations. Yeah, so it sounds similar as far as, didn't really know much about natural language or conversational bots until Alexa came out for me, and that's kind of how I got started. And then I was part of the Alexa Champions program, and that's how I ended up meeting you for the first time, was just through that interaction there with the other champions and just seeing the different things that you were doing. Um, you do share a lot of the different things that you're different presentations or lectures or notes or articles and stuff that you do. So there's just a lot that you share to the community. So thank you for doing that. Let's dive a little bit into the kind of the infrastructure work. I know that you may not be able to tell us everything that you do at Voiceflow, but like what type of technology do you use, and kind of what's the infrastructure that you're in charge of?
Yeah, so basically, I mean, Voiceflow runs not only in just one cloud provider, as you can imagine, because we are like the main infrastructure. Let's say like the workloads and everything is of course AWS, but the everything that is related to machine learning and all that stuff, that is we are using like different cloud providers because the models are deployed in different cloud providers. For instance, OpenAI is on Azure, Claude is on Anthropic, so all these like things. Gemini is on Vertex on Google, so that's we have like a mix in terms of machine learning infrastructure. But at the end, like I would say, like 85% of the infrastructure is on AWS. Everything on Voiceflow, we are running our workloads on Kubernetes, which is cutting edge technology, and it's super fast, scalable, and allow us to move super fast. Because right now uh, we are releasing a bunch of things. Like every single week we have a new release, a new feature out, so that's why we need to move faster. And another thing that my team is doing is the development environment. So basically every single developer has like a mini voice flow, and that mini voice flow is deployed in the cloud as well, and people can like develop like their microservice and connect to the cloud, so they don't need to run or do like this kind of like Docker compose and work or deploy things locally and all that stuff. That is, everything is on the cloud. You deploy your mini voice flow, and that's it. It's super fast. And yeah, like the devs here love the development environments, and also like the review environments. Like for instance, when we create a pull request, it's the same. Like you can actually add a label on the GitHub pull request, and that will trigger and it will deploy a mini voice flow with all the changes of that pull request. So for that, for product, for validation, is really cool, and everything is happening in less than 5 minutes. So the feedback and this inner loop is super fast.
Yeah, that's really important. You want to make sure that you don't interfere with the developer flow and just kind of keep things going with that. So Docker and Kubernetes, and various cloud providers. One of the things that you mentioned was machine learning. Now, I know there's probably was a certain amount of machine learning under the hood of Voiceflow, but Voiceflow's changed quite a bit from the time that it first came out, because it was very much let's use Voiceflow to create an Alexa skill or a Google action. And now it's more, it's been able to stay up and catch this latest wave of AI with large language models and agents, and still do some of the very core things that it had been doing, but just adding this flexibility and making developing these bots or agents that are based on AI a lot easier. So maybe you can talk a little bit about that generally, just about the direction that Voiceflow is going with their product.
Yeah, so as you said, like Voiceflow, and we have still have that in the name voice. Voiceflow, when they started, like back in, I think that was 2018, it was just a tool to create or to do like some storytelling with Alexa. And like during the years, we have been evolving towards like not only like in the past we have only like focus on Alexa or focus on Google Assistant, like skills, actions. Then we move to a creator, like a design tool, like the Photoshop for assistants. But then we realize like, okay, we have everything. Like why we have Alexa skills that are deployed using Voiceflow, and those are running right now. Like Alexa, like people is using those skills, and those skills are deployed in Voiceflow. We have the best design experience out there. Like why we don't expand, like why we don't like mix everything or put everything together to create assistance for every single platform, and just not use Voiceflow as a design tool, like not only as a design tool, but also as you can create an agent that you can use everywhere. So that's the current path right now, like using Voiceflow as a production tool. And it's being like really great. And of course, like during these years, like the AI, as we all know, the AI spectrum have changed. We were coming in 2018 from like the classic natural language understanding, intents and entities. And right now on Voiceflow you have knowledge bases that are like like under the hood. We have like our vector databases, calling AI, embedding models, doing retrieve augmented generation, like all these things, plus like calling LLMs whenever you want in the system flow. A bunch of things in terms of generative AI, and in terms of AI we have also speech to text and text to speech capabilities. That's as well AI. So yeah, like building the platform of the feature to create assistance, or probably like building or improving the platform that we have been building since a while. So mixing the best of both worlds, creator experience and then the production experience.
Yeah, so for those who are have seen Voiceflow in the past and have kind of labeled it as a no code, low code kind of workflow tool, sure it does that, but it's so much more with collaborating with multiple members of the team. That could be content people, it could be designers, it could be developers. And one of the features that let's spend just a couple of minutes talking about today is this new feature of Voiceflow Functions. So this is something, and you can kind of tell more about what it is, but this is something where it's very much developers do something in the tool, and other people can use that as part of their kind of their workflow or their experience.
Exactly. So as I said, like right now we want to like get the best of both worlds, like like production and design experience. So for the design experience, we can say that we can have that actually the people that is in the design experience are like non-technical people, like linguistics, conversational AI users. But for the production, we usually see like a bunch of developers. So functions is like a piece that we were missing in our creator tool for a while, and now is out there, and it's wonderful. It's basically reusable developer components that you can like build codify and share with your team. For instance, let's say that you are building an assistant and you are like a non-technical guy, that in that assistant, let's say that you want to trigger, I don't know, like you want to send an email, for example, then you call your developer in your team to write a function that function can have like inputs and outputs. So you can add a logo as well, for instance, like a email icon, and the developer what it's gonna do is just develop a simple function that will send an email, and then it will give that back to you, and you will upload that to Voiceflow, and then on Voiceflow is just another block that you can drag and drop. You just need to fill there the inputs and work with the outputs, and that's it.
So yeah, so it makes it just like being able to create a custom block inside of
Exactly.
Voiceflow that's
Exactly.
got code behind it. So let's talk a little bit about what it is. So is it just JavaScript that you can use to create
It's just
functions, and talk about what you can do inside of there, what type of limitations you might have, but what abilities you have inside of a function.
Yeah, so basically, as you said, is only right now JavaScript code, and yeah, in the way that we are running it is in a safe way. Basically, it is limited JavaScript. Like you don't have like all the full capabilities. You have most of them, but you can use, for instance, fetch. You can use some external packages, and there are some external packages that are already there that you can use. That's everything is in the documentation, but when we execute the code is like in a fully isolated and fully secure environment. So every single execution of every single function is in a fully isolated environment, which makes it safer.
Yes.
So yeah, in terms of use cases, like for instance, there are a ton of use cases, like just sending an email, using, for instance, SendGrid, make a payment using the Stripe API. You can, like, for instance, the Stripe API, you can be like a long piece of code and just, put it in a function, and that's a custom block, and it will trigger a payment. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, well, that is it, it's functionally equivalent to like if like an if this then that, or other, where you've got, your workflow triggers something, so this block gets triggered, and you have the ability also inside of that function to determine what output path, like there's a success path or a fail path.
Exactly.
So you can control like what are the outputs or what are the exit paths from this block, and determine that in code. And it basically, from what I was able to look at the documentation, there's a certain format. You have to define a function a certain way. It takes in an object which has the list, an object that includes different properties for like what the inputs are, and then on the outbound side, you can define what the outbound properties are. If that's what you're doing, it could also call, depending on what type of workflow it is, different steps or different path flows, plus define which path it's going to take on the out,
Yeah,
kind of on the output
correct.
side. So it's very cool. It's important to be able to encapsulate those things. I didn't see a lot of examples that included imports, and I probably just haven't got to the point in the documentation yet that outlines what the imports are. But it's one of those situations that you don't want to, it's not like you're going to download hundreds of NPM
Yeah,
packages to make something. You want it to be as simple as possible. And if it gets to a point where it's too complex, then what you will probably do is you would make an API out of that functionality, host it someplace, and then use the function to call that API and
exactly.
have that happen.
Exactly. When you have like a very complex code, or like probably you have like to get some specific information that it's in some specific It's hosted in some specific server that needs different security requirements. Probably you will have like to call an API that goes to an API gateway, and then the API gateway retrieves that information, in that security side of things, and then get that information back, like things like that. But the functions itself is for something that, like for handy things, like trying to avoid those API calls and move more developers to the platform.
So that sounds interesting. Um, is there any new features to functions that are coming soon that are on a roadmap that we can hear about, or do we just have to wait and see?
You have to wait and see that, but there are gonna be more things coming to function. So
Excellent. So like me as a developer, maybe if I had some sort of an API or some tool, some functionality that I wanted to expose as a function on Voiceflow, is there a way, is there like a catalog or a library of those
yeah,
functions where I could publish it and make it public for other people to use? Or what's the story around that?
yeah. So we have like kind of a marketplace for functions. So if you go to our official Discord, the Voiceflow Discord, you can share those functions with the community and also with us, and we can publish those functions there. They're our marketplace. I'm just checking it right now, and we have, for instance, like like send analytics event to segment, creating a dynamic carousel using Zendesk Help Center, send question to Perplexity, pull from Google Sheets. Like there are a ton of things,
Yeah.
and and yeah, you can share whatever you have.
So as a community of developers, we could contribute towards adding functionality to the voice flow via these functions.
Yes, exactly. And we encourage them. Like it is, because if what you are developing is solving an issue that you have, that means that probably you are gonna solve issues of, like that other developers will have.
Now, any of these functions that we publish would be considered open source, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So that it's not like a marketplace where you can make money off of your functions.
Exactly, because the function itself is like a JavaScript code, it has the format that you said, so you have to download that from the marketplace and upload it in your canvas, so you will be able to read the code, and if you want to modify it, you can still modify it, and yeah, but it's considered open
Oh,
source.
okay. Yeah, and but I'm assuming also if you had an API that you needed to monetize and to get some sort of an API key, you can still do that on whatever the developer or your company's website as far as the usage, but then the function itself is just kind of the easy, making it easier for people who use VoiceFlow to just plug it in and go with it.
Exactly. So on the function side, what you will define is a parameter that is going to be, for instance, the API key, and then on your project you will define the API key variable, and you will pass that information to the function, but the function itself will not have like any hard-coded API key or something.
Okay, so last question that I have on the technical side of things, is there any sort of limitations? For example, you could, conceive of, well, I'm going to, in this JavaScript function, I'm going to call, 3 different APIs, and I'm going to store something in a database through another API call and do various things. Is there any type of limitation on the function has to return back in X amount of time, or is it, and if it's not, it's considered that it's in a bad
That
state?
that's a great question. I think that I know why you are mentioning this, because in Alexa I think it's 8 seconds, right?
Yeah. I always, when I think about things happening inside of a bot, I think of Alexa and the 7 or 8 second timeout limit that you have for things. And so I wasn't sure if there were, and
Yeah.
you as like maintaining an infrastructure like what if you have some rogue code going off and doing something and it
I
taking too
think,
long. So maybe,
yeah,
yeah, maybe not yet.
no, I mean, not yet. I think our current limitation is the one that is set on infrastructure side, that is like 10 minutes or something. So, like it's quite long, but
Yeah.
I mean, you are writing or you are creating an assistant. So the ideal scenario is to get back to the user as soon as possible. But in terms of the limitation itself, what I just would say is just that it is only JavaScript for now.
Okay. No, this is an exciting feature. Is there anything else that you wanted to add about functions that maybe we need to know about?
No, yes, I mean, stay tuned because more things will come. That's 100%.
Excellent. Well, Xavi, I've just really enjoyed. The time's gone by really quick. I wish I could just hang out and talk with you for another hour or so, because you're just always fun to talk to. So appreciate you coming on our show today and just kind of talking about how things are going.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me, and it was a pleasure being here. That's my second home. So yeah, it was a pleasure.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So those out here on the listening to the podcast, if you've got any questions, I'm sure you could reach out to Xavi on social media, or you can ask questions in the chat, the comments here of the video on YouTube. But would just love to hear about how you're using VoiceFlow, kind of what your take is on the VoiceFlow Functions feature and what you might do with it. So we will catch you on a future episode of Two Voice Devs. Take care, everybody.
Bye bye.